Hi, I'm here today to talk to you about the installation of my Jotul F3 clean burn stove. I went with the Jotul stove, and you're probably looking at one too because you have a hearth application where you have a low lintel or header across the front of your fireplace, and you need something with a really low vent. I think you're probably going to find that this is the only stove that'll fit in a fireplace with a lintel height of 26 inches. I've tried them all. I wanted a bigger stove actually. I'm sort of glad that I didn't find a bigger stove that would fit in this hearth, because this stove is going to be plenty enough heat for my house. I have an 1,800 square foot house that I don't plan on heating exclusively with this stove, but I would like to heat the first floor and supplement the heat. I think it's, right now, burning wood is about a quarter of the cost or less than burning fuel oil, so I'm pretty happy about that. One of the things I didn't like about having a smaller stove on the hearth, and you'll probably find this too, is that my firebox is not very attractive, and I didn't want to be able to see that. So we had a brass front on the fireplace with those bifold glass doors. I took the glass doors out, and I took the frame out into the garage and painted it, brought it back in, installed it, and I built a couple of blank off plates here on either side so that you couldn't see back into the firebox, and I think it turned out pretty nice. The one thing there's two things that Jotul requires. You've got to have, if you've looked into this, you probably know, but you've got to have clearances that are pretty big from your mantle trim and your mantle. And I didn't have that. I didn't want to move this mantle. I would have had to move it out 36 inches. You can imagine what that would have looked like. I don't think it would have looked very good. So I built an eyebrow, and they do reduce the clearances for that, but not as far down as mine. But I've had this thing running at 550 degrees now for over an hour, and I can put my hand under that mantle, and it's just a little warmer than room temperature. The other thing that they want you to have is a hearth that has an R value of, I think, 1.1. I have one layer of brick on a mortar bed on a wood subfloor, and that equates to 0.56 R value before you hit the combustible support beams in the basement. So that it doesn't meet code in that way either. So like I said, I've run this thing for a couple of hours now, and I can put my hand under the ash pan, and it's cool. So I think they have there's a heat shield underneath this stove that is apparently really effective. The other thing that they want your hearth to come out 16 inches or 18 inches from the front of the glass here, and I don't have that either. I've got my hand on the floor right in front of the stove right now, and it's just a little bit above room temperature. I think that requirement is because when you open this door, I'll do that right now. When you open this door, you could have a log roll out, and if it did roll out off of my ash pan lip, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a lip here that sticks out off the stove. If it did roll out off of that lip, it rolled right out onto a combustible floor, so that's not necessarily good, but I plan to get a fireproof rug and put it down here instead of building my hearth out or buying any of that Mycor that you've probably read about, or one of those hearth pads, I think they call them. They look like tile. So anyway, I put this video up to help anybody else who's considering the installation of a Jotul or Jotul F3 stove from Norway. I'm very happy with it. I finished my burn-in last night and stayed home today to do a final burn. And I'm at about 550 degrees. I loaded this thing up about, like I said, a couple of hours ago, and I've got a pretty nice fire burning that looks like it's going to last a while. So again, the Jotul F3 clean burn, this is in the blue black enamel. I would really suggest that you go with this. This is a nice looking stove, and I'm not going to have to spray it with any high temperature Rust-Oleum paint. It's got a very muted or matte finish to it that my wife just loves, and I think we're going to enjoy this thing. Best selling stove in America, they say, and I can see why. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment, and I'll get back to you. Thanks a lot.